Hare Krishna, we are live on YouTube.
Very good.
Almost live on YouTube.
Would you like to chant Hare Krishna? Or there's Radhesha, he could perhaps chant Hare Krishna, one or the other or both.
Radhesha Prabhu, are you able to chant Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna, yeah, we can. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शत शिष्य भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र शत शिष्य भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासारि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। जय श्री श्री राधे कृष्ण गोपिनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। All glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees, all glories to some devotees. Nitya Premanandi. Namo Vishnupada.
Hey, welcome everyone to Caitanya Caritamrita. His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Thursday, June 19th, 2025, and today we're starting with Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, chapter 14, text 10. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, text 10. Se sane jagi nimai karye randana anke lana sachi tanre piyaila stana. Translation. While Mother Sachi and Jagannath Mishra were talking, Child Nimai woke up and began to cry. And Mother Sachi took him on her lap and allowed him to suck her breast. Any comments there?
Yeah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinami. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Prashpachade. So there's this, the context is that there's been a discussion. I see footprints like those of Lord Vishnu all over the house, and people are offering respect and this and that. And then while this discussion is going on, then Yogamaya is expanding her influence in such a way that he's being accepted as an ordinary child. Hare Krishna.
Okay, moving on to text 11. I could read. Actually, right now I can't see anybody in this call. Somehow Zoom has done something strange that I can only see Krishna Konteya Prabhu.
Really?
Yeah. So I'll do my best, but if someone has a hand up, I may be slow to see it. Just saying. So someone might want to chime in if they have a hand at some point, just because of this glitch. Yeah. Okay, I'll continue with text 11. Let's see. Or Panchatattva Prabhu, I see on the call. Would you like to start with text 11 and continue onwards to a purport? Panchatattva Prabhu, would you like to?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could see you in the participants column, but okay, now I can see you and hear you.
Okay. Text 11. Stana piyaite putrer charana dekila se chinha paye deki misre bolaila. While Mother Sachi was feeding the child from her breast, she saw on his lotus feet all the marks that were visible on the floor of the room, and she called for Jagannath Mishra. Any comments? Dekiya misrera haila ananditamati gute bolaila nilambara chakravarti. When Jagannath Mishra saw the wonderful marks on the soul of his son, he became very joyful and privately called for Nilambara Chakravarti. Chinnateki Chakravarti balena hasya lagdaganni purve ami rakiyachit likya. When Nilambara Chakravarti saw those marks, he smilingly said, "Formerly, I ascertained all this by astrological calculation and noted it in writing. Bhatrisha Lakshana Mahapurusha Bhushan Esishu Ange Deki Se Sabha Lakshan." There are 32 bodily marks that symptomize a great personality, and I see all those marks on the body of this child. Panksha Dirga Panksha Sukshma Saptarakta Sat Unnata Tri Hrasva Pritu Gambira Dvatringsa Lakshana Mahan. There are 32 bodily symptoms of a great personality. 5 of his bodily parts are large, 5 fine, 7 reddish, 6 raised, 3 small, 3 broad, and 3 grave. Purport. The 5 large parts are the nose, arms, chin, eyes, and knees. The 5 fine parts are the skin, fingertips, teeth, hair on the body, and hair on the head. The 7 reddish parts are the eyes, soles, palms, palate, nails, and upper and lower lips. The 6 raised parts are the chest, shoulders, nails, nose, waist, and mouth. The 3 small parts are the neck, thighs, and male organ. The 3 broad parts are the waist, forehead, and chest. The 3 grave parts are the navel, voice, and existence. Altogether, these are the 32 symptoms of a great personality. This is a quotation from the Samudrika. Among Vishnu Padaya.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Gurudev.
No.
I don't, there's not much for me to say. Would be, anyway. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Gurudasa Jayādvaita Swami Niti Namine. Om Agyana Tamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshara Umalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we're hearing from Nilambara Chakravarti with due reference to Shastra and so forth, Vedic explanation, that all of the auspicious bodily symptoms of a great personality are present in this little child, Nimai. And we've heard that Sachimata noticed that the markings that she has noticed on the feet of baby Nimai were present in the room on the floor, and it startled her, and she called her husband Jagannath Mishra, and he was very delighted and happy to see that these markings belonged to their son. Nilambara Chakravarti comes, and he very happily expresses and begins, he continues to describe this child's wonderful auspicious markings and auspicious activities that he will perform in the future. Gurudev?
This quotation also appears in Nectar of Devotion in regard to Lord Krishna. It appears that the Samudrika is a branch of Vedic Shastra that deals with bodily features and their significance. The material body is a projection, you can say, of the gross body, is a projection of the subtle body. Manaschayam Vishayan Deva Sevate, like that. In the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I think, that yes, the living entity, in accordance with his subtle body, receives a particular his mind attracts, as it were, a particular set of senses, particular eye and ears and nose and so on. So we can tell something about a person by their physical appearance. It's not just sort of an irrelevant accident that this person has a particular kind of embodiment. it's indicative of their mentality, their past karma, and so on. It's not everything, because, for example, Vyasadeva was ugly looking, but he was a great, greatest sage. But still, we note auspicious bodily features, and we say, oh, these indicate past pious activities or some elevated characteristics. I can think of some ISKCON devotees. I guess I won't name them, but their embodiment is so auspicious. You know, their bodily features are so outstanding. In a, you know, they sort of exude piety, or exude.
On the topic, Brew. Okay. You're welcome to continue if you'd like.
I just wanted to comment that I also, especially when I first joined, but even to this day, am startled sometimes at seeing the extraordinarily beautiful qualities of Vaishnavas. They seem sometimes otherworldly in their beauty or handsomeness, and it's a delight to see, actually. Just seeing such devotees makes one remember Krishna. Wonderful. Oh. Narayanera Chinha Yukta Sri Hasta Charan Esishu Sarvaloke Karibe Taram. This baby has all the symptoms of Lord Narayan on his palms and soles. He will be able to deliver all the three worlds. Eta Karibe Vaishnava Dharmera Prachar Iha Hoite Habe Dui Kulera Nistar. This child will preach the Vaishnava cult and deliver both his maternal and paternal families. Purport. Only Narayan himself, or his bona fide representative, can preach the cult of Vaishnavism, or devotional service. When a Vaishnava is born, he delivers both his maternal and paternal families simultaneously. This is an extraordinarily amazing statement. When a Vaishnava is born, he delivers both his maternal and paternal families simultaneously. So auspicious is the appearance from the very beginning of a devotee of the Lord. Just consider, the Vaishnava per se hasn't done anything in this life. He's just taken birth. And he's being, or she is being, such an influence that the Lord is happily giving liberation or deliverance to both maternal and paternal sides of the family. That's amazing. Gurudev, would you like to say anything, or anyone else? Hare Krishna.
No.
In the chat, Praveen Prabhu writes, Ana eva manusyasya purva rupani samsati bhavisyatascha bhadrante tataiva na bhavishyata. O King, all good fortune unto you. The mind is the cause of the living entities, attaining a certain type of body in accordance with his association with material nature. According to one's mental composition, one can understand what the living entity was in his past life, as well as what kind of body he will have in the future. Thus, the mind indicates the past and future bodies. Radeshra Prabhu, are you available to read? We just did text 17, so now text 18.
The
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita verse is Shotram Chakshus Parshanam Cha Vasanam Granam Eva Cha. What is that? Manastrayam. Adhisthaya Manastrayam Vishayam Upasevate, 15th chapter. The living entity travels from one body to another, carrying his mental conceptions the way the air carries aroma. So that he receives a particular kind of ear, eye, sense of touch, tongue, hands, legs, everything, gathered around the mind for interacting with the sense objects in a particular way. So both verses are saying that.
Praveen Prabhu writes, Adhisthayam.
Yeah, Adhisthayam Manastra. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, we have a question here from Dr. Philip.
For a Vaishnava to be born in a family, looking at Prabhupada's father was a pure devotee, as he mentioned. Bhaktisiddhanta's father was a pure devotee. I mean, even Prahlad Maharaj's father was actually a pure devotee in disguise. Don't they already have to be special personalities to give birth to a Vaishnava child? How is it?
Isn't one already have to be special to get a Vaishnava child? From one point of view, yes, that's there. But sometimes, just like who was that? Mrigari, the hunter. So his father was a hunter, but he became a great Vaishnava. Sometimes that happened. King Vane, father was a rogue. Son was different. Hare Krishna.
I had one small comment. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Guru Dasa Jayādvaita Swami Niti Namane. When I heard Prahlad Maharaj's name brought up and seeing this purport, only Narayan himself or his bona fide representative can preach the cult of Vaishnavism. I was thinking of one of the names Hiranyakashipu calls Prahlad. He calls him Durvinita. And of course, Saraswati Devi flips it around. She says, Du is like the material world, Dukalayam Ashashvatam, and V is Vishesha. And he came to this world with the special purpose of liberating all of the people. And so the name was flipped around. And in the context of that discussion, it's described how Prahlad Maharaj, being the bona fide representative of Narayan, can preach so nicely. Durvinita. All right. Text 18. Mahotsava kara saba bolaha brahmana ajidina bala kariba namakarana. I propose to perform a name-giving ceremony. We should observe a festival and call for the brahmanas because today is very auspicious. It is a Vedic principle to observe a festival in connection with Narayana and brahmanas. Giving a child a particular name is among the purificatory processes known as Dashavidha Samskara. And on the day of such a ceremony, one should observe a festival by worshipping Narayana and distributing prasadam, chiefly among the brahmanas. When Nilambara Chakravarti, Shachi Mata, and Jagannath Mishra understood from the marks on the Lord's lotus feet that the child Nimai was not an ordinary child, but an incarnation of Narayana, they decided that on that very same day, which was very auspicious, they should observe a festival for his name-giving ceremony. In this connection, we can particularly see how an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ascertained by his bodily symptoms, his activities, and the prediction of the Shastras. Oh, by those three things: bodily symptoms, activities, and prediction in the Shastras. But by factual evidence, a person can be accepted as an incarnation of God, not whimsically or by the votes of rascals and fools. There have been many imitation incarnations in Bengal since the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. But any impartial devotee or learned man can understand that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accepted as an incarnation of Krishna not on the basis of popular votes, but by evidence from the Shastras and bona fide scholars. It was not ordinary men who accepted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the beginning, his identity was ascertained by learned scholars like Nilambara Chakravarti, and later, all his activities were confirmed by the 6 Goswamis, especially Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami, and many other learned scholars with evidence from the Shastra. An incarnation of God is such from the very beginning of his life. It is not that by performing meditation, one can become an incarnation of God all of a sudden. Such false incarnations are meant for fools and rascals, not sane men. My only small comment would be even not just with God, but even the spiritual master. We just read, my son recently, the story of the Punar Musika Bhava, again become a mouse. You slowly, climb up the ranks and think yourself bigger and bigger, and at some point, the last snare of Maya I've heard is that you want to become God. So this is being shown here that at no point in our development can we achieve godhood. It's not something that can develop, but Krishna was always God from the time of his baby pastimes. Guru Maharaj, any thoughts?
Apart from Prabhupada's much needed comments on imitation gods being manufactured in Bengal and elsewhere, it's also notable that for this ceremony, the prasad is distributed particularly to the Brahmins. This point is made so many times, actually, in Shastra and Bhagavad Gita also, that charities should be distributed particularly to the Brahmins. Not that we designate the poor as being incarnations of Narayan or representatives of Narayan. And therefore, when we're feeding the poor, we're feeding the poor version of Narayan. This is an offensive mentality. And it's what's the word? It caters to the mundane idea that charity should be given to the poor, and that religion is useful when it does some social good for society in terms of utilitarian outlook. But from the Vedic point of view, charity is meant to be given to the Brahmins primarily, and then it may be distributed elsewhere. Hare Krishna.
Few things in the chat. Raveen Prabhu writes, so the samskaras, purificatory processes, are actually festivals of worshipping Narayan?
Yeah. They may not always be big public festivals, but these significant events are marked by worship of Narayan, distribution of charity to the Brahmins, and so on. And there are various rituals and so on that are performed. But the idea is to remember Narayan at every juncture in life.
Saraswati Maharaj writes, pronouns Param Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. Many Hindus hold a kind of festival, Satya Narayan Katha, inviting Brahmanas and other people. They recite pastimes of Lakshmi Narayan. I am not sure if this is bona fide in terms of practice of bhakti.
As far as I know, this is not part of our line. I don't know much about Satyanarayan Katha. But let's see.
Saraswati Machi's expanding on this, saying Nilambara Chakravarti is Gargamuni in Krishna Lila, where he performed the name-giving ceremony for Krishna and Balaram.
Yes. Yes. Generally, first of all, this Satyanarayan Katha and so on is generally performed as an auspicious activity for material advancement. I don't know much more about it, except that it's not something we do, or that Prabhupada taught, or that we find mentioned in Caitanya Caritamrita and so on.
Odesha Prabhu writes, Subhasya Sigram.
You have something's auspicious, do it right away. Nilambar Chakravarti saw, oh, this is auspicious. Let's do it. Let's do this name ceremony.
Saraswati Machi, are you available to read the next verse? Text 19.
Sarvalokere kariba ihan dharana poshana Vishwambara nama ihara eta karana. Translation. In the future, this child will protect and maintain all the world. For this reason, he is to be called Vishwambara. Purport. The Chaitanya Bhagavata confirms that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his birth, has made the whole world peaceful, as in the past Narayan protected this earth in his incarnation as Varha. Because of his protecting and maintaining this world in the present Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known as Vishwambara, which refers to one who feeds the entire world. The movement, inaugurated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was present 500 years ago, is again being propagated all over the world. And factually, we are seeing its practical results. People are being saved, protected, and maintained by this Hare Krishna movement. Thousands of followers, especially Western youths, are taking part in this Hare Krishna movement. And how safe and happy they feel can be understood from the expressions of gratitude in their hundreds and thousands of letters. The name Vishwambara is also mentioned in the Atharva Veda Samhita 3.3.16.5. Vishwambara Vishvena Mahabharasa Pahi Swaha. Om Gyanantimirindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was actually reading a letter that Srila Prabhupada had replied. Can't remember the devotee, I think it was Gargamuni Prabhuji. And Srila Prabhupada said that you are mine and I am Krishna's. Therefore, you are all also Krishna's. And that's just so beautiful that because of Srila Prabhupada's work to fulfill the mission and desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not thousands, and we can say more than thousands of people are being saved in the true sense that not that their bodies are being saved, but their souls, they're being reinstated in their constitutional position as Krishna Dasa. So there's no comparison, this mission that Srila Prabhupada has undertaken. And we know that you have to be empowered, and we know Srila Prabhupada is a Shakti Avesha avatar, and the results, as they say, are very clear. It's mentioned how Vishwambara means one who maintains. Sometimes people do get confused because they think, well, there's three lords. There's Brahma, who creates, and Lord Vishnu Narayan maintains all of creation, and Lord Shiva destroys that, and they think all these three are all equal. Of course, we know that that is an atheistic outlook, and it's actually Lord Narayan is actually conducting all three, but his representatives, Brahma, Guna avatars, Brahma and Shiva, they are in charge of certain aspects of the material creation. But the fact is, Lord Narayan is doing all three. And the name Narayan, Nar means man, Ayan means refuge. So Lord Narayan is the refuge of all living entities. Of course, we know about Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the most munificent, most merciful Mayavadanya avatar, who has come to deliver anyone and everyone. Tapi chapi yatha chila Harinam Uttarila. With the holy name of Lord Krishna, everyone can be delivered. And it's through the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who started this Sankirtan movement, and the effects we are seeing very clearly. Hare Krishna.
I did a quick check on Satyanarayan Katha. I see only one reference to it. Prabhupada said, just like in our country, there's so many pujas, Satyanarayan Katha, like that. Their aim is to get some material profit. So that's, yeah, not to say that it's an unbona fide practice that I don't have information on. As far as I know, there's probably some background in Shastra, but generally when we hear there's Satyanarayan Katha, then there'll be auspicious narrations aimed at getting material profit.
Thank you, Maharaj. I know I myself did attend one when I was very young. I actually found the whole affair really boring. I didn't really understand much of the katha that was being recited. It all seemed like in a completely foreign language, and a lot of the participants were falling asleep. But yeah, I did just sort of question it because I wasn't sure if it was sort of karma kondik, sort of ritualistic activity. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, does Philip Prabhu there want to read?
Philip Prabhu there, would you like to read?
Hare Krishna, okay.
Okay, he's on.
Suni Sachi Mishveramane Ananda Badila Brahmana Brahmani Ani Mahotsava Kaila. After hearing Nilambar Chakravarti's prediction, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra observed the name-giving festival in great joy, inviting all the Brahmanas and their wives. Purport: it is the Vedic system to observe all kinds of festivals, including birthday festivals, marriage festivals, name-giving festivals, and festivals marking the beginning of education, by especially inviting Brahmanas. In every festival, the Brahmanas are to be fed first, and when the Brahmanas are pleased, they bless the festival by chanting Vedic mantras or the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's interesting, Maharaj. Festivals or any function in the West is celebrated with alcohol, whereas here they invite brahmanas who invoke the name of the Lord. It's yes, it's kind of sad. We degrade ourselves in the West. They remind people of God at every opportunity possible. What a powerful thing.
Yeah, it's quite a good observation. When there's a festival, and even a religious occasion, then people observe it with intoxicants. My father, for his store, at Christmas time, he had a paint and wallpaper store. So in the back in Christmas time, he would have some bottles of liquor for the painters, a little Christmas cheer for them, a matter of business, and they would appreciate, of course. But that's what it is. People celebrate even the birth of Jesus Christ by drinking liquor. So quite the astute observation. In the Vedic culture, these occasions are celebrated by giving charity to the Brahmins and by auspicious activities, not by intoxication, illicit sex, and so on. And these are all samskars, birthday festivals, marriage festivals, and they're all good excuses for having Harinam Sankirtan. Especially the householders, they're involved in marriage festivals, birthday festivals, name giving, beginning of education. So these are all good excuses for inviting the Vaishnavas and having kirtan and distribution of nice prasadam. That develops loving relationships among the devotees and creates an auspicious atmosphere for everyone. Hare Krishna.
We have something in the chat. Pratipurna Madhavi Masaji writes, Hare Krishna Maharaj, was the forecast shared by Nilambar Chakravarti not indicated to Lord Chaitanya's parents and relatives and friends about the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya as Supreme Lord? So how, after hearing about him as Supreme Lord, they continued considering Lord Chaitanya as their little child?
This is the influence of Yogamaya. Even after hearing, even after seeing, they think that the Lord is just their child. When Gargamuni gave his judgment, then that was enough for Nanda Maharaj to understand that Krishna and Balaram are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But still, he didn't think that way. The Brajbasis later inquired, is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is he going to give us liberation? And so Nanda Maharaj repeated what Gargamuni had predicted, but they just thought, oh, well, Krishna is so wonderful. And still they thought, well, maybe he's some demigod who's appeared in Braj. But then they were wondering, why should the demigods appear in Braj? Why would the Supreme Lord appear in a cowherd village, an incarnation of God? Maybe you'd think New York City or London, but or all right, if it has to be India, then Bombay or Calcutta. But why in some obscure cowherd village would the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear as a cowherd child? Or why even would a demigod do that? So this is all Yogamaya's influence. Even after seeing all these auspicious marks, even after hearing these predictions from the learned astrologer, Jagannath Mishra or Nanda and Jashoda, think that our child is so wonderful. That's all. This is otherwise, how could they treat him like their child? Then the rasa would be blocked. So Yogamaya expands in this way so that the Brajbasis or the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can see him in this way. Otherwise, none of these pastimes would be possible.
Machi, are you able to read text 21?
Yes, Maharaj. तभी कतरे ने प्रभु जान चंद्र नाना चमत्कार तथा वराह दर्शन. After some days, the Lord began to crawl on his knees, and he caused various wonderful things to be seen. Therefore, the Chaitanya Bhagavat describes that one day while the Lord was crawling upon his knees, the bells on his waist ringing very sweetly, a snake came out to crawl in the yard of the Lord, who captured the snake like a curious child. Immediately the snake coiled over him. The Lord, as a child, then rested on the snake, and after some time the snake went away, leaving the Lord aside. I have a question in this one. So, Maharaj, this indication that the snake coiled over him and the Lord as a child rested on the snake. So, does Lord exhibit um, this pastime as Lord Vishnu reside on the Ananta Shesha?
Yeah,
Is
that
it-
would be the indication that we immediately see the parallel that the Lord as Narayan or as Vishnu lies on the Sheshanag. So in a similar way, it would be taken that the serpent is the appearance of Sheshanag, and the Lord took the opportunity to perform this pastime. Described that way. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hmm.
Should I read next verse?
Why not?
Text 22. Chandani chale balai hari naam, nari sab hari bole hasi gaurdham. The Lord caused all the ladies to chant the holy names of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on the plea of his crying, and while they chanted, the Lord would smile. Purport. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, this pastime is described as follows. The Lord with his beautiful eyes would cry, but he would stop immediately upon hearing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When the ladies, understanding the fun of the Lord, discovered that he would cry and then stop upon hearing the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, they all took it as a clue to chant Hare Krishna as soon as the Lord cried. Thus, it became a regular function. The Lord would cry, and the ladies would begin chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, clapping their hands. In this way, all the ladies of the neighboring houses would assemble in the home of Shachimata to join in the Sankirtan movement 24 hours a day. As long as the ladies continued to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the Lord would not cry, but would very pleasingly smile upon them. Maharaj, would you like to comment?
These are sweet pastimes of Sri Chaitanya.
All right, should we pause there for kirtan? Would Philip Prabhu there like to?
I think we have a few more minutes. We can continue.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, 23. Venkatesh Prabhu. Are you available?
I'll just take it.
Okay.
Tabekta dine koilo pada jankramon shushugane mili koilo bibita kelon. After some days, the Lord began to move his legs and walk. He mixed with other children and exhibited various sports. Ekadin Shachikai Sandesh Aniya Bhatta Bhari Tia Baila Kauta Pashiya. One day while the Lord, well, of course, now this gets into a big pastime. Let's just see how far this goes. Yeah, this becomes a major pastime of the Lord. So why don't we stop here? Because that way we'll keep it all together. We're just about at the end. These are all sweet childhood pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. And yes, would you like to lead Kirtan?
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Purnamansa Paripurajaka Ashtottara Satashi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande.
Bhagavatam or Caitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Ki Jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.